What's up, guys? This is Martin Amini, and you can follow me on my Instagram at Martin Amini, on Twitter at Martin Amini as well. And shout out to WurdMedia for holding me down. See you guys out there. Peace. I got my start in comedy back in 2012. I had just moved back from Los Angeles to my hometown, Silver Spring, and I decided I wanted to give it a shot.
Yeah, I took the Z11 downtown Silver Spring, hand in my pocket cold.
Growing up in the DMV, man, one thing I know, I feel like the DMV, we got swag, man. I think we have a better fashion taste than other cities. That's just my opinion. And we got better sense of humors. Some of the best comedians have come out of the DMV. A lot of people don't know that, man. Like Dave Chappelle is like a big one, but they don't know about Martin Lawrence, Wanda Sykes, Tommy Davidson. Another one of my favorites that people don't know about is Tony Woods. Lewis Black went to Blair High School. Ari Shaffir's from Silver Spring. Yeah, the list is crazy. I was very fortunate, man, to grow up in Silver Spring. It's easily the most diverse city I've ever seen in my life. Like, I grew up around everybody. I went to Kennedy High School in Silver Spring, got in some trouble, got transferred to Walter Johnson in Bethesda. So I went to a predominantly black school to a predominantly white school, so I got to see both type of lifestyles. And I think that's probably what helped me in stand-up, being able to address all different types of audiences. My cousin's a well-known comedian. He's an established comedian in Los Angeles, and when I had gotten there, I was exposed to entertainment for the first time. I'm from Maryland, so there's nobody in my family besides my cousin has done entertainment, and so I had no idea that could be a career. My dad's from Iran, mom's from Bolivia, 2 immigrant parents, coming up in America. I don't know, like most immigrants, there's an expectation for their child to go on to college, become a professional, like a lawyer, a doctor. Fortunately for me, they didn't put that much pressure on me because they knew that I always had a vision, and they respected it. I had my own way of doing things. My dad's been driving an ice cream truck for the past 32 years in Potomac, Maryland, and I talk about it on stage a lot, but people sometimes they don't even really believe me. Like I grew up watching my dad beef with other ice cream truck drivers. Like, we actually had like turf wars growing up, and I think that's why I do comedy, because like once you see your dad getting knocked out over snow cone sales, you're gonna end up on stage talking to strangers about your feelings. I never consider myself a political comedian, but due to the current climate, with Trump being elected and having a background of being Iranian and Bolivian, it would be hard for me not to address it, only because it's very personal. When you have the leader of the free world talking about, banning Muslims, or, Latinos or XYZ, you know what I mean? And just belittling races as a comic, man, I have to address it. It's like, yo, how can I not address it? The Overachievers is a show I founded back in 2012 with my partner DJ Bo. We started off in a bar in Adams Morgan, DC. There's like a 40-seat bar at the spot called Brass Monkey. And what it's evolved into is a show that's been sold out all across the city. We're now at the Draft House Theater, 160 seats. We're actually sitting in it right now. Easily, you could call it the best show in DC. We bring in headliners from New York and LA who's been on Comedy Central, HBO, MTV. The coolest thing about it is the type of audience we attract. Like, we attract people from all races, background. It's just cool to see people come together and enjoy a vibe that we created. Can't wait to get in. People, anticipation, people who are waiting to see what's going to happen at this upcoming show. And that's an energy you can't replace, because when you walk in, you feel it. And that's, to me, like Bo and I, we work very hard to get to a level where we can give an audience a feeling that they'll walk away like, yo, that was dope. I auditioned for Laugh Tracks back in June of 2017 here in DC. They went around the country to all the major cities to look for new comedic talent for this new show that's being produced by Bob Sumner. They rounded up DMV's top 16 comics, I was one of the 16. We're in the back room and they're holding the auditions, and like, I didn't know, but Bob was there. And Bob was wearing like a fitted hat, a long t-shirt, and he just started talking to the group out of nowhere, and he was like, Martin Lawrence, Wanda Sykes, Dave Chappelle, who's gonna be next in this group? And we're all like, our hearts are pumping like, I don't know, I think I'm funny, you know what I mean? And then I went up, I think 4th, got off stage, and Bob was in the audience. He came up to me, shook my hand, gave me his card. He's like, we're gonna be in contact. And I just remember that was like the best feeling in the world, you know what I mean? To get the validation, the stamp from Bob Sumner. I made the decision to move back to DMV back in 2012. This is before Gold Link and Chaz popped off, right when like First Impressions was like, in my opinion, their peak. Like they had, you know, I think there was like a rumor that they had the 6 video deal with T.I. And it's like I found out they were like from Kensington. I'm like, yo, that's where I live. And I'm like, there's these kids in a basement doing music videos for T.I. And I was like, that's crazy. I just remember like hearing these stories while living in LA. And I was like, man, I need to get back to the DMV, man. It's more popping out there than it is for me in LA. Yeah, I moved back, and you know, no regrets, man. It's a thriving scene, a lot of fresh talent. I still think it's very untapped, but in the past year or two, I think that industry's starting to take notice. Just like an example is they had auditions for that new show. You know, Bob Sumner came to DC to look for new talent. I think it's because they know the history of DC. And I think it's up to the new artists of DC to kind of uphold that standard of quality. And it takes, you know, a few artists to break that'll open up the doors, you know what I mean? And I think that's what's gonna happen with like, you know, new comedians. Like some of my friends have gone on to do some big things from the area, and I think that's what's gonna continue to happen in the next few years, that you're gonna hear about it more and more. There's a lot of great like artists in the city that's like, that I'm excited to see like blow up, like for real. A lot of them do this show. So come to Overachievers. You're gonna see some very famous comedians one day for only like $10. So it's a good deal. To master your craft, it takes years. They say 10,000 hours is what it takes. That's real.
Made me wanna rob his L's. Me, Bobby McHale in the minivan, trying to get in the end, everything poppin'. Say we go to Tyson's, do a little shot.